I even looked up an article today that had a vacation rental here in Scottsdale that was Love Island themed.
Oh,
You're gonna get what you advertise for, and they're advertising for
I do a
Love
lot of deep
Island.
cleaning more than once a year. You're gonna advertise Love Island. You better deep clean the heck out of that place.
So check that math. If you put a quarter down, $100,000 into a house, lipstick it as much as you can, and you're making 40 to 50%. 48,000, 52,000 on a $100,000 investment. That's easy math. You're grossing about 50%. That's why people are getting into vacation rentals. Not only is the money like transparently there, but it's awesome. You now have a party house. They don't like to label it as that, but that's essentially what it is. Like, I got married 3 years ago and I housed my high school buddies in this place. And we just rocked the socks off this. It's great. It's fantastic. So not only do you have a product that's giving you massive gross returns, but you also kind of have a toy that you could impress your buddies or your family and house people that you want to when they're in town. Hey guys, Brooks Mashmeyer, Snowbird Nation, brokered by EXP Realty. And Erik has that right. I actually just got out of a meeting. One of my buddies inherited $24 million. So what do you do with that? Please call Brooks, right?
Right. Call Brooks.
Oh God. Oh
Yep.
God. Okay, so today we're going to be talking about vacation rentals, STR, short-term rentals. And the question is, how do you even get here? So I've been self-employed since age 14. I've had a number of jobs, number of self-employments in the real estate industry. I mean, I started out by building homes. So I have a labor kind of background and stuff like that. But guys, I've been in marijuana grow farms. I've been in long-term rentals, short-term rentals, and now into vacation rentals. Why? Because it's awesome. It's all the money without the risk, right? So like, I just sent a lead out to Erik today. And if you have any inquiries, please deliver them to Erik as well. But I had a lead today ask me, how do you even get into short-term rentals? Like, what is that world about? Well, it's not that far different from buying any other investment property, guys. Now, Erik, correct me if I'm wrong. How much down do you need for an investment property?
20% minimum.
20% minimum. Boom. I like putting 25% down just because it
Right.
works the books a little
rate.
bit.
Yep. It gets you better rate, gets you better terms. Yep. Makes your
It
payment a
does.
lot lower.
So just like if you're going to buy your own house, you have to have a down payment. In this case, if it's a investment property, put down 20 to 25%. I like putting down 25%. So let's go through some quick numbers as to why you even want to do this. Let's say I want to buy a $400,000 vacation rental. And believe it or not, I am in a $400,000 vacation rental. I put 100 grand into it, fixing it up and whatnot, which does what it does. But my initial investment was 400 grand in this bad boy. So for 400 grand, what does that get you? On a vacation rental, that gets you about $48,000 to $52,000 a year. So check that math. If you put a quarter down, $100,000 into a house, lipstick it as much as you can, and you're making 40 to 50%, 48,000 to 52,000 on a $100,000 investment. That's easy math. You're grossing about 50%. That's why people are getting into vacation rentals. Not only is the money like transparently there, but it's awesome. You now have a party house. They don't like to label it as that, but that's essentially what it is. Like, I got married 3 years ago and I housed my high school buddies in this place. And we just rocked the socks off this. It's great. It's fantastic. So not only do you have a product that's giving you massive gross returns, but you also kind of have a toy that you could impress your buddies or your family and house people that you want to when they're in town. Like, a vacation rental is a really cool thing to have.
How do you list it? Like, you buy it, you're like, this is going to be a vacation rental. How do you advertise it so that people start, booking it?
Great question. Okay. So getting into vacation rental right away, you got to put down 20, 25%. Second thing you got to do is lipstick it as much as you possibly can. Put a nice bull's head on the wall, something that really speaks to you, right? And the third thing is the bookings, right? So bookings, I used to go across VRBO, Airbnb. The second that you start advertising yourself as a vacation rental, people would come out of the woodwork saying, hey, I could make you a website where people could book on you directly. Screw all that. Just choose one. I ended up with VRBO only because I was getting multiple bookings from Airbnb, VRBO, and everything else. And it's not my job to double book. It's not my job to give back money. I think the third rule of the Ferengi is once you get their cash, you never give it back. And I was doing that. So choose one outlet to advertise on and then walk away. So I was doing VRBO and I was getting booked up 90% of the year. The only downtime in the year on vacation rentals in Phoenix, at least, is August because it's hot, hot, hot. But at the same time, just use that month to clean up. So let's go with this in order. Get your down payment, get your down payment with Erik, get with somebody like me, a real estate agent, to find a perfect product in a perfect neighborhood, whether it's Minnesota or Scottsdale. There's a product for you there, and people do need a vacation rental there. Typically, these places don't have HOAs, so you have a little bit more latitude to actually make the funds of it. Third thing, dress it up, lipstick it, make it whatever you want to. Fourth thing, get your systems in place, like VRBO systems, advertising, things of that nature. Figure out who's going to clean the house in between the stays and whatnot. Now, I'm fortunate enough that I have a construction background, so I know when somebody's bullshitting me on the costs and stuff like that. So I have a really good buddy whose family not only cleans the property, they make sure that everything's in tip-top order. And if something's broken, like a cabinet, they fix it right there and charge me later because I trust them to that method, right? So those are the four things. You get your lending down with Erik, you get your product down with me, you get the lipstick on the wall in the advertising and all that kind of good stuff, and then the systems between the advertising and the cleaners, and then you're on the road. So the hardest part about making a vacation rental is the first month. That's when you're lipsticking, you're trying to figure out what your message is, your place in the market, your advertising. But after that first month, guys, after your systems are solid and in place, it's kind of done. It just runs itself after a while. And then you want to do an annual deep cleaning. Just raking in the money at that point.
So it's a little scary at first. It's a little tough for the first month, but then once you do it, it kind of runs itself. One of the things you brought up, it's really funny. I never thought of that before, is this is different than a regular house you would live in. You can make this place a lot more fun and exciting and whatever, because you want to give somebody an experience, right?
I even looked up an article today that had a vacation rental here in Scottsdale that was Love Island themed. You're going to get what you advertise for. And they're advertising for Love Island. I do a lot of deep cleaning more than once a year. You're going to advertise Love Island. You better deep clean the heck out of that place. If you're going to do this and you're going to treat it like a business, you have to be sort of open to the idea that who's renting it, who's willing to pay the extra for the experience. It's people that want to have fun, people that want to forget, people that want to party, people that want secret. Like, you got to be, you can't mandate what people want. You have to be open to it, right? You can advertise as much as possible. So if you have a quilter in mind, then advertise for a quilter. That's in the 55 plus, Sun City, something like that. But if you want money, you're going to advertise to partiers, because the more heads in beds, the more cash you're going to make. And that brings up another discussion, the demographics and the legalese of who could actually reside in your house. So fair housing, it's been around for a while, get to know your rules. Fair housing says 2 adults per bedroom. And that's pretty much across the board, this nation. That has to do with fire restriction codes. That has to do with other things. So if we have a 4-bedroom house, that means I could have 8 adults, right? Federally, yes. But here in the city of Scottsdale, it's maximum 6 adults and as many kids as you want. So I had this 6-bedroom place over there by Papago, and I was sleeping 22 people at a time.
Wow.
That's a hotel. It was insane.
That's not a vacation rental. That's a hotel.
That's a hotel. The money off this thing was insane. So obviously I got called out on it by the neighbors, and the Scottsdale compliance officer calls up and says, Brooks, you know, the rules of Scottsdale say a maximum of 6 adults and how many kids you got? I'm like, okay, well, I can play by the rules. So then the guy calls me up again and says, Brooks, there's a school bus outside your house. Yes, sir, there is. It's a little league. There's 6 adults and 20 kids.
Right. Take that. I just put 4 more people in there.
So you can't be too like uptight about who's going to be in your house. Your house is going to be used for parties, bachelorette parties, people checking out the area, people wanting to move into the area. And as the rules change or as you get called out on it, just change with the times. You know, creativity gets you out of a lot of issues. And in fact, that Little League house went on for 2 years. It was fantastic fun. But then it ended up being sold to a buddy of mine who does drug rehab, right? So he zoned it. He made it into what it was. It's a drug rehab house now. My neighbors absolutely hated the idea until they were just doing yoga in their front lawn and going to bed by 7. Then my neighbors loved it. They're like, Brooks, thank you so much for selling to that drug rehab house because we don't have 30 cars parked in the street anymore. Like it's no longer a party house. Shift happens, shift with it. But if you're of the mindset of making cash, then you kind of have a liberated mind, right? Once again, employed since age 14. So don't see anything as an issue, see it as an opportunity. But that also narrowed down what my product is, right? I know I can't do 22 heads and beds anymore. So now my product in Scottsdale is 4-bed, 3-bath, really typical, 6 adults, as many kids as possible kind of thing. So it's an evolution. And the money's
what areas of the valley do you feel like Scottsdale, for example, they're starting to kind of tighten up on that? What areas of the valley do you feel like are the best to look at buying a vacation rental?
So at this point in the Rona of history and stuff like that, every vacation rental not only is being used for vacations, but they're also being used as lily pads. People coming in from Milwaukee, California, Oregon, wanting to move into the Phoenix greater area, and they don't want to pay hotel fees and they want to have a little bit more privacy than that. They're renting out these homes for $5,000-$7,000 a month, you know, and that could be in Mesa all the way to Goodyear, east to West Valley. It really doesn't matter because there's so many people coming into the market. Now, Scottsdale's international. Scottsdale is internationally known, always has been, always will be. So there's a huge demand here for it. But like over there in Glendale, you have Westgate. So that's a party scene in itself. There's a lot of families. Families want to see families. So you're going to have a little bit more longer term, short-term rentals there, like 1 week, 2 week. Mesa's full of families, and family always wants to visit family. Erik, how many families do we get in the winter down here?
A lot.
All of them. All the family members in any kind of cold state come down during the winter. So at this point in the history of staycations and vacation rentals, just find yourself a 4-bedroom, 3-bath, no HOA, somewhere in the bullseye of greater Phoenix, east, west, north, or south. And there's a reason why people will come down to it. You know, there's even vacation rentals out in the middle of the woods up in northern Arizona because people in Phoenix want to go up to the cold weather when it gets hot. So just know that your product, your placement will determine the demographics of the people that will be showing up. But there's such a huge demand for housing across the nation. Every single vacation rental is doing extremely well right now.
So let's say they don't have a buddy, they're getting started, but they don't have a buddy to do the cleaning, to do all that. Like you kind of had it all one setup. What do you recommend that people do?
Okay. So you could piggyback off of professional services. VACA, VACA, is a professional nationwide vacation rental service that will not only help you set it up, help you get your TPT and your EIN. Yes, it is a business. Yes, you're going to pay taxes. So do these things accordingly. Get yourself a transaction privilege tax number, stuff like that. But they'll also help you out finding a cleaning service in your area. Now, VACA also takes about 10 to 15% of your gross, which is a lot of money, but it's not a lot of money if you think about them just as your startup. So if you use them for a year or 2 years to get used to the idea, to get your systems in place, then that 10 to 15% is well worth it. So the answer to that, Erik, is there is national companies that cater to vacation rentals that will help you with these kind of startups things. They won't help you get a house. That's where Erik and me still come into play, but they'll help you maintain and start up your startup. And then from there, if you have a year into it and you've been looking for a cleaner for a year, you're probably going to find a good cleaner.
And you could still be profitable if you're paying them and doing the stuff.
Yeah.
And yeah. And the idea,
So,
I'm guessing, is you'll do what you need to do, but you don't necessarily have to go in and wipe the counters down and do the laundry. Like, hire somebody to do that. You're a business now. Pay people to do what you need them to do.
yeah.
So that you still have your life, right?
Exactly. One vacation rental is a full-time job. It's as much of a full-time job as 6 vacation rentals. So you might as well get as many vacation rentals as possible, because if you're going to get one, you're still going to have the trials, tribulations, all the excitement of answering that phone at 9 p.m., talking to a grandma about where she get her best turkey. You're like, you become a concierge of sorts. And if you're a concierge to 1, you might as well be a concierge to 6. And if you're a concierge to 6, you might as well just sub it all out.
Mm-hmm. And so, like, they're saying the market may go down, it may flatline. Let's say the market's going to go down. Do you feel like, and I know you don't agree with that, and I'm in that camp too. I think there's so much different than before. Nobody really knows, so it could go anyway. But let's say it goes down, right? Is that going to impact the vacation rental market? Because people don't care what the value is of the house that they're renting. They're renting for the experience.
Correct. So yes, let's say worst case scenario, housing market goes down or plateaus or whatever. Well, we're starting to open up here, Florida. We are party states. People come down for the party, and the vacation rental demand is through the roof. That is counterbalancing the scenario of the actual housing market itself. And if you're looking to get into the vacation rental industry, a collapsed real estate market is to your benefit, because then you can get the same product for less, but still retain the same amount of revenue. The revenue, let's just focus on that real quick. If you're making 50%, 40% gross, let's call it lowball 20% net. Erik, how much are these loans for an investment property?
They're minimum $400,000.
What's the percent? What's the interest?
Oh, the interest rate is it's going to range between high 3s and high 4s.
So if your spread on your net is 20% minimum, and you're talking about high 3s, high 4s, let's call it 5, you're still going to clear 15%. Any investment that you have should have a minimum of 6% return. Vacation rentals have a minimum of 15% return, let's call it. The real estate market that's on fire, the top it's ever been, is generating, 12, 13%. And that still has a lot of volatility to it. At least a vacation rental is a secured investment. Nobody's going to steal the house. That's making you a minimum of 15%. So even if the housing market goes down, even if there's zombies in the streets and stuff, like, it's a secured investment. At least you can defend yourself against, zombie hordes from it, as opposed to stock where you're just throwing pieces of paper at it, it's kind of a no-brainer. And at the end of the day, you could always make it a long-term rental. You could always make it a drug rehab clinic. You could always make it something else, because you're buying a product that is solid and it's secured, but it's also fungible. You can make it into multiple different things if you wanted it to.
That's one of the things I've always, it's like a superpower you have. And it's that you pivot so quickly, and you just, it's amazing. It's amazing. And it's really great for this vacation rental. So, like, if your marketing's not working for one area, change your marketing up, and you're not committed to an idea or a particular strategy. You're only committed to the success of what you're trying to accomplish.
I tell my business partner, if you do business correctly, it will be so perverted and twisted under your watch that you won't even recognize the final product. You have to let these things take their own evolution. Mm-hmm. And eventually, the evolution is dictated by the by the income.
Yeah.
So as long as you keep that in mind, as long as you're just not throwing dollar bills out the window to help grandma get a house, then your product is going to end up being something that you didn't even recognize when you started. It's
that is
fascinating.
a genius. That is a genius point, right? Basically, you don't get to control how you get to the success. You get to control the start. You get to manage it, how it's gonna, stand on track. But in the end, you pursue the profits. Is that what you're saying?
That's exactly what I'm saying. And then at the end, my brother says in real estate, you only win or lose at the end when you sell it. And my friends, I'm at the end of this house. I told you I bought it for $400,000. I probably put about 60 to 80,000 into it over the course of years, including the furniture and whatnot. And I am under contract for 780,000 on it. So not only did I
you
make
made
40,
rental income the whole time.
its own tax shelter.
Yeah. Wow.
Yeah.
Okay. So
Yeah,
if you're in any way, shape, or form interested in vacation rentals, you absolutely don't mess around. Go to somebody that knows what they're doing and actually does it for themselves and for their own benefit. Call Brooks Mashmeyer. His information's below. Call Snowbird Nation. Get connected. This guy is the real deal. I'm telling you right now, he is the real deal, and he is no bullshit. He's going to get you what you want, and you're going to win with him. I've personally seen lots and lots and lots of people meet Brooks, talk to him, shares ideas, and then boom, they're more successful as a result. And in this vacation rental thing and in other things, it's for real.
Erik, you got a really good point there. Guys, if you are looking at a real estate in your neck of the woods, one, I could help you out if you're in Milwaukee. Give me a ring. I'll find the best person in your area. But if you're on the street looking to compare realtors, one, ask them how many properties they have. All good real estate agents have properties. They have their own side hustle. And number two, the one that I like to ask, how many houses have they built? Ask your fucking real estate agent how many houses they have built. I love winning with that one.
Yeah, mostly it's zero.
Mostly it's zero. Mostly these guys are coming out of a used car lot. No, you want somebody who knows how to swing a hammer.
Yeah, if you are an enterprising real estate person and you want to be a new investor or you want to be a vacation rental person, I'm telling you right now, Brooks is your guy. Brooks is your guy. So
and
thank you very much for
you.
being on the show today. What's that?
Yeah, I won't judge anybody. It's not my meaner. So give me a ring, no matter what position you're in, whether you're thinking about it, you're halfway through it, you just want to bounce ideas off the next level of what you want to do. Like you want to liquidate everything and go into a top golf. It's all business.
Drop it the comment, like it, and subscribe. Blah, blah, blah. Thee knowest thy drilleth. Whoa.